They called it the eighth wonder of the world. A room made of 6 tons of amber, its panels backed with pure gold leaf and studded with jewels. Today, its value is estimated anywhere between $140 million and $400 million. It was a masterpiece of art, a gift between kings meant to celebrate peace. But this glittering treasure holds a dark secret. Stolen by the Nazis in 1941, it vanished from the face of the earth. And since then, a disturbing number of people who have gotten too close to finding it have met sudden, mysterious, and often violent ends. This is the story of the Amber Room and the deadly curse that seems to haunt it to this day. Before we uncover the terrifying details, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. The legend of the eighth wonder. Before the darkness, there was a room that seemed to radiate light from within, glowing with a warm, honeyed fire. The story of the Amber Room begins in Prussia around 1701. It was the ambitious project of Frederick I, the new king in Prussia, who wanted a chamber for his Charlottenburg palace that would outshine the splendor of Versailles in France. He brought in his finest court sculptor, Andreas Schluter, and a famous Danish amber craftsman, Gottfried Wolfram, to create something the world had never seen. For over a decade, craftsmen worked with more than 6 tons of the highest quality Baltic amber. These weren't just flat panels. They were intricate mosaics and detailed carvings, all backed with pure gold leaf. When all 565 candles were lit, the entire room would blaze with 1,000 shades of yellow, the light bouncing off strategically placed mirrors and gemstones. It was, in every sense, a masterpiece, and soon earned its nickname, the eighth wonder of the world. But the room wasn't destined to stay in Berlin. In 1716, the King of Prussia's son had a visitor, the towering Tsar of Russia, Peter the Great. Peter was obsessed with modernizing Russia and was completely captivated by the Amber Room. Seeing a golden opportunity to forge an alliance against their mutual enemy, Sweden, the Prussian king made a stunning diplomatic gesture. He gifted the entire priceless room to the Russian Tsar. Packed into 18 massive crates, the room was shipped to St. Petersburg. But it was Peter's daughter, Empress Elizabeth, who gave the Amber Room its most famous home. In 1755, she had it moved to the magnificent Catherine Palace in Tsarskoye Selo, the summer home of the Tsars. The new space was much larger, so an Italian designer was brought in to expand it, using more amber to create a breathtaking chamber covering nearly 600 square feet. For almost 200 years, it served as a meditation chamber, a gathering room for Catherine the Great, and a testament to the incredible wealth of the Romanov dynasty. It was a symbol of peace, a fusion of German artistry and Russian grandeur. But the peace it represented was about to be shattered. The heist. On June 22, 1941, Adolf Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, sending 3 million German soldiers into the Soviet Union. With them came special units tasked with plundering cultural treasures. High on their list was the Amber Room. The Nazis didn't see it as a gift between nations. They saw it as a German creation that rightfully belonged to the Reich. As the German army blazed toward Leningrad, modern-day St. Petersburg, the curators at the Catherine Palace in the suburb of Pushkin tried to evacuate the room. But they hit a catastrophic problem. 2 centuries of Russian weather had made the amber incredibly dry and brittle. When they tried to remove the first panels, the ancient resin began to crumble. Moving it seemed impossible. With German artillery fire getting closer, they tried a last, desperate gamble: camouflage. They covered the priceless glowing walls with a layer of boring wallpaper, hoping that in the chaos, soldiers might just overlook it. It was a pointless hope. The legend of the Amber Room was too great. When German troops took the Catherine Palace, they knew exactly what they were looking for. It didn't take them long to find it. They ripped away the wallpaper, revealing the golden treasure beneath. Under the supervision of art experts, a team of German soldiers did in 36 hours what the Russian curators couldn't. They stripped the Amber Room from the walls. Every panel and carving was packed into 27 crates and put on a train to the city of Königsberg, the capital of East Prussia. There, in Königsberg Castle, parts of the room were reassembled and put on display. The museum's director, Alfred Rode, was a passionate amber expert who was mesmerized by his new acquisition. For 2 years, the Amber Room sat in the heart of the Third Reich, a trophy of conquest. But as the war turned against Germany, its new home would become its tomb. And Alfred Rode, its final guardian, would become the first person associated with its modern, deadly legend. The disappearance. By late 1943, the war was going badly for Germany. The director of the Castle Museum, Alfred Rode, was advised to dismantle the Amber Room once again for its own protection. In early 1944, the order was given, and the shining panels were packed away into crates and moved to the castle's basement. This is where the story gets murky. In August of 1944, Britain's Royal Air Force launched a massive bombing raid on Königsberg, and the ancient castle was reduced to a smoldering ruin. It's in the aftermath of this inferno that the trail of the Amber Room goes cold. It simply vanishes. The most straightforward theory is that the room was destroyed in the fires that consumed the castle. Amber has a relatively low melting point and could have easily been incinerated. Many historians believe this is the most logical explanation, a casualty of war lost forever. But the story isn't that simple. Right up until the end, there were conflicting reports. Alfred Rode himself gave contradictory stories. He apparently swore to one superior that the panels had been rescued, yet told a friend they had been tragically destroyed. As the Red Army closed in, Hitler issued orders to evacuate all looted treasures from Königsberg. Did those orders include the Amber Room? The brutal Nazi governor, Erich Koch, fled the city, and some say he managed to spirit the crates away, taking the secret with him to his grave. When the Soviets took the city on April 9, 1945, investigators swarmed the ruins, specifically looking for the lost treasure. They found nothing. And this is where the mystery of a lost artifact begins to morph into the legend of a deadly curse. The first person to be consumed by it was the last man known to have control over the room's fate, Alfred Rode. We are now entering the darkest chapter of this story, the trail of bodies left in the Amber Room's wake. It's a series of events so strange, it's fueled conspiracy theories for over 80 years. Before we uncover these mysterious deaths, if you're finding this mystery as compelling as I do, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us dig deeper into historical enigmas just like this one. Now, let's talk about the curse. The curse and the body count. The official story is that in December 1945, Alfred Rode and his wife died suddenly of typhus. In the ravaged post-war city, this was a common disease, but the circumstances were suspicious. At the time, Rode was being questioned by the Soviet secret police, the forerunner to the KGB, about the room's whereabouts. The timing of his death was, to say the least, convenient. While some sensational stories claim the bodies and the doctor who signed the death certificate vanished, there's no credible evidence for this. Still, the first two deaths linked to the Amber Room were shrouded in mystery, and they wouldn't be the last. For decades, the trail was cold. The mystery became a legend for historians and treasure hunters, and then people who got too close started dying. There was the Russian intelligence officer, General Gusev. After speaking to a journalist about the case, he was killed in a car crash. An accident, perhaps. But in the world of the Amber Room, coincidences start to look like a pattern. Then came the most infamous case, Georg Stein. A former German soldier, Stein became one of the most obsessive Amber Room hunters, spending his life and fortune chasing leads. In 1987, he claimed he was on the verge of a breakthrough. He went to a remote Bavarian forest to meet a contact. He was found there, but not with the treasure. He was found murdered. While lurid accounts claim he was ritualistically mutilated, official reports are less clear, and the case remains unsolved. His death had all the hallmarks of a professional execution, a grisly warning to others. The narrative of a curse became so powerful that it was no longer just a fringe theory. Ivan Sautov, a former director of the Catherine Palace Museum, once stated, "The people who have concealed the Amber Room may be members of a closed circle, and anyone who comes too close to this circle will die." Whether it's a supernatural force or a very human conspiracy, the effect is the same. The Amber Room doesn't just remain lost, it actively seems to resist being found, leaving a trail of bodies as a warning. The theories: sunken, buried, or burned. With the Amber Room gone and a string of mysterious deaths in its wake, all we have are theories. They range from the plausible to the outright conspiratorial. The first and most accepted theory is that the room simply burned in the Allied bombing of Königsberg Castle in 1944. This is the simplest explanation. The fires were intense, amber is flammable, and the chaos of war is the perfect cover. This theory suggests the curse is just a string of coincidences, and the hunt is for a treasure that no longer exists. But for treasure hunters, that's too neat. A popular theory is that the room was evacuated by sea. This idea gained traction with claims that crates were loaded onto the German ship, the Wilhelm Gustloff. In January 1945, a Soviet submarine torpedoed and sank the ship, resulting in a horrific loss of life. For years, divers believed the amber room was in the wreck, but multiple searches have found no evidence. Another sunken ship, the Karlsruhe, was identified as a potential carrier in 2020, but searches of its wreck also came up empty. A third, more tantalizing theory suggests the amber room is deep underground. Proponents believe Nazi officials hid the crates in one of thousands of secret bunkers or abandoned mines scattered across Germany and Poland. The Nazis were known for hiding plunder in such locations, and this theory keeps the hunt alive, with teams periodically announcing they've found a hidden chamber, only for their hopes to be dashed. Finally, there are the more fringe theories. One suggests the Soviets found the room intact after the war but hushed it up. Another wild theory claims that Stalin, anticipating the Nazi invasion, had a perfect replica made, and what the Nazis stole was just a fake. Each theory adds another layer to the enigma, ensuring the amber room remains as much a mystery in its absence as it was a marvel in its existence. So where does that leave us? 80 years after it vanished, the fate of the original amber room remains one of the greatest unsolved art mysteries in history. Was it incinerated in the fires of war? Does it lie in a watery grave at the bottom of the Baltic? Or is it still waiting in a forgotten bunker for a finder brave or foolish enough to ignore the curse? What we do know is that the legend endures. In 1979, the Soviet government decided to bring the eighth wonder of the world back to life. For 24 years, working from old black and white photographs, Russian craftsmen painstakingly recreated the room in the Catherine Palace. It was an immense project, requiring them to rediscover lost 18th century techniques. In 2003, the new amber room was finally unveiled. A stunning reconstruction that allows millions of visitors to glimpse the splendor that was lost. But this beautiful replica is also a constant reminder of the unresolved mystery. It's a placeholder for an original that may be shattered, sunken, or hidden. The search continues, fueled by the treasure's immense value and the thrill of the chase. New theories and potential discoveries still make headlines, yet the shadow of the curse lingers. The stories of Alfred Rode and Georg Stein serve as a chilling testament to the dark side of this magnificent treasure. The Amber Room is more than just lost art. It is a story of sublime beauty and brutal warfare, of artistic genius and destructive greed. It's a puzzle box of history with a heart of gold and amber, and at its core, a question that remains unanswered. And perhaps that's the ultimate allure, a treasure so magnificent and a mystery so deep, it continues to capture our imagination, forever glowing just beyond our reach. The theories we've discussed are just the most prominent ones. What do you think happened to the Amber Room? Was it destroyed? Is it hidden? Or is the curse real? Share your own theories and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to read what you think. And for more journeys into the world's greatest unsolved mysteries, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.